Hey, everyone. Suzanne Taylor King here with my friend, this way,
Hey.
Brendan McCauley. And we're just doing this pop up live because we're super excited about our upcoming masterclass, creating clients for coaches. And Brendan, um, this is like incredible what we've created
hmm
because of the single problem that we've seen across hundreds upon hundreds of coaches and conversations that we've had with them, that we had to come together and actually give our secrets for researching, attracting, and engaging with
hmm
ideal clients in a way that they actually turn into connections and clients.
Yeah. One thing I heard from a guy that was running an event, and I always liked it, and it stuck with me. And he called it like the three E's: to excite, to engage, and to enroll.
Yeah.
Uh, so for any of you out there that at this point, you're like, you're great at what you do, whether that's health, maybe that's wealth, maybe that's relationships. You know for a fact that you have so many years of maybe experience, or maybe this is a little bit newer for you, but you have such a passion for it that if someone just sits down and honestly works with you, it's like they're going to get a transformation in some form or fashion. And
Yeah.
I know for me, like that's how I felt. And I was like, okay, how do I go in? And then I came to realize very quickly that just because you have certifications or degrees or schooling does not automatically equal clientele. And I unfortunately decided to learn that the hard way. And then eventually it got to the point I was like, okay, great. What does it actually take for you
Yeah.
to get your message to the masses in a way that you can be seen, where it's not just like a one-off or, like, hey, somebody just happened to mention your name. How do you become sort of that go-to authority? How do you become, instead of being this best kept secret, how do you go from like maybe overlooked to potentially overbooked?
Yeah.
And so that's why, Suzanne, I'm super excited to be able to do this with you. I think we have such a really cool balance of
Mhm.
skill sets. I love playing on the tech side, and you have such a wealth of knowledge, especially in
Yeah.
that AI portion and just, getting eyeballs seen. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think this common problem, it's probably the question I get asked the most, and when you have the ability to do this, it's kinda like being able to turn on and off a faucet for your business, and, you know, you've helped me see that with a better funnel and a better system for that faucet, it's just exponential, the growth that you can have in your coaching practice. And I just see so many talented, over certified
hmm
people not able to do the transformations or do the work with their clients because they're missing these key things when it comes to having conversations with their ideal clients. And this isn't fluff and this isn't, theory. This is actually what to do. And anybody who knows you or I kind of knows that that's how we show up and deliver. So I think doing this together is just going to be incredible.
Yeah, and I think we've now known each other through, how long has it been? Maybe almost going
Almost
on
a
a year,
year. Yeah,
almost a year.
almost a year.
Yeah, and so guys, even the way that STK and I had met, there are certain strategies to how you meet potentially influential people that already have your ideal audience, right? So those are going to
Yeah.
be just even one of the tactics that had, her and I not been in a very similar space. And, we both reached out in a certain way and built a relationship over a period of time. And now we have this really cool opportunity to be able to come together and to do these. We're going to talk about how do you actually come in at what STK calls like the middle of funnel. How do you leverage to be able to come into somebody who already is sitting in front of your target audience? And there's going to be little tips, little tricks that are they're small, but they're big and they can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, like we don't want to just do a quick little 45-minute training. Like we've done those before. We don't want to do just like an hour and a half. We're doing a 4-hour, a half day deep dive session to literally go into your entire business. And I don't care if you're brand new and a little bit newer to the game. If you are seasoned, you've been doing this for a handful of years, it still comes down to really solid foundational basics. And I'm a huge proponent of less is more. So I think over the course of this half day masterclass, we're really going to go in and guys come in like ready to learn and just come in with like fresh eyes of, all right, here's where my business is at. Here's ultimately where I would love to get it. And then maybe what are a couple things that, STK has done, that I've done, that, you can now take, you can leverage and implement immediately into your business that can make a world full of difference. So, and it's going to be happening soon because we're doing it on the 13th, I believe,
Yes.
is what we said, right?
Yeah. Next week. Yeah, really excited. And I think, just to give a little taste of what we're going to be talking about, the idea of being of value in the middle of other people's funnels, to other people's groups, whether it's speaking or teaching or guest hosting. You just hosted one of my inner circle coaching events yesterday for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this idea of having those partners that put you in front of their people. Well, why would anybody do that for you? One, because you're valuable to other people, but also I know when I'm providing value to one of my AI mentors, I do it in their style. When people come to give value in my community, whether it's a workshop or hosting an event, they're doing it in my style. So my people feel comfortable instantly with the people that I put in front of them. And that's super intentional, but it's often in a step that people miss in collaborating, in, hosting for someone else. And look at all the Facebook groups there are out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there's opportunities in those larger Facebook groups to build relationships with the host, but you have to do it in a way that is going to make them look good and, be a part of their tribe and do it in their style. So when somebody comes into my community and they drop stuff that has nothing to do with what I do, it never resonates. So finding those common grounds and those common things. I mean, I've built relationships with people based on surfing or being the mom of an adopted child or rescuing dogs, like nothing to do with business, but we get on the same page and we build that relationship with each other because of some other common ground. And it's really incredible when you start to think about your business like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and guys, that's going to be one section that we're going to talk about specifically, so you can start leveraging these tools, these tips, these tactics into your business right now. That literally you could be one conversation away from a radically different business, because all of a sudden
Yeah.
they put you in front of somebody else or in front of their group,
Mhm.
and I've had that happen, which is amazing. And then so that's going to be a lot of the front facing piece. We're also talking about the back facing piece, where okay, let's just say you get a lot of traction, you have a lot of people, and they come and they check you out, and they go to your social and they say, okay, who is this person, Jane Doe, and what is she up to? We're going to talk about what does that need to look like, because if you have sites or a social presence, like, guys, we are all searchable.
Mhm.
And so if somebody goes and they look up your name, how much in alignment is that with who you are, how you serve, how you help, and all the rest of these pieces? So we're talking about those pieces too. Like, does that align with your brand, with how you want to be seen in the marketplace? Are you using the words? Are you putting the copy on there? Are you invoking the emotions and hitting those pain points where somebody raises their hand and said, oh my God, STK, I love what you do. I have to work with you. How do I find out more? And we're talking about those concepts as well, because I'll put it right now. If I were to put you on a NBC, if I were to put you on Oprah, if I were to put you, or, say, hey, you got a New York Best Times or New York seller, what do they call it? New York best-selling author,
Yeah, New
right?
York Times bestselling author.
New York Times bestseller. There we go. So if you're
Yeah.
any one of these, and all of a sudden you got 10,000 people to you tomorrow,
Mhm.
to be prepared and in a position where people understand you help this person achieve this goal in this time period. Could you
Yeah.
effectively collect their information? Could you officially put them into somewhere where you could provide value, that you can nurture them, that you can naturally send them to want to work with you? And I think STK and I have had enough conversations where probably 8, if not 9 times out of 10, the answer is usually no. And so the whole entire intention of these 4 hours is we want you to be fully equipped and armed, that the second that you have an opportunity, you don't want to be set up for an opportunity and not be prepared. You want to be prepared and then be able to walk into an opportunity. So our intention for this half-day Clients for Coaches Masterclass is to give you that entire beautiful foundation. So when I look you up, I'm like, oh my God, this person's incredible.
Yeah.
They're ethical. It seems like the complete sense. I know exactly what my next step is to work with them. And we're going to do a fun deep dive. It's going to be awesome.
Well, and I want to be like the people who know me know that most of my offers and most of the things I teach come from my own struggles. And full transparency, 2 years ago, I had an opportunity to speak in front of 1,000 of my ideal clients,
Mhm.
and I didn't capture them. And, as Brendan's probably like churning in his stomach right now.
No.
But I was really good at attracting those opportunities. And I kept thinking, okay, I'm not doing a good enough job with the capture, the follow up, the nurture. And that's when it really hit me that I needed a better system, because with how good I am at doing that, this should be like a really easy process to go from that top of funnel, good at attracting 1,000 people, to having that turn into 10 clients for a mastermind or one high ticket one-on-one client. Like,
Mhm.
and that, that possibility for me, I saw other people doing it. I saw so many coaches who I paid lots of money to doing that exact thing over and over and over. And it has nothing to do with your coaching ability or skills or certifications or any of that. This is
Mhm.
just technology, and are you using it and leveraging it? And everybody knows I'm passionate about that because I had to do it for myself.
Yeah, and I think the other part, STK, as I've watched you do other trainings and other, one-on-ones and group presentations like this, the way that you bring AI, because now all of a sudden it's here, it's not going anywhere, it's only
Yeah.
getting bigger, badder, and even faster, at computations, at going through things, at leveraging it. What do you do with that? It's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh my God, there's so much. Where do I even start? And
Yeah.
so I think we now have this beautiful opportunity where when you take those systems, when you take the clarity, and all of a sudden you take AI in a way that you can leverage it that makes sense for just where you are, and even just as, something as simple as the Fathom recording that I put on Zoom has radically changed,
Yeah.
just how I am able to hop into meetings and take
Mhm.
notes. And again, small little things that even if you only take one thing away from this masterclass can be a total game changer. And I think
Mhm.
we're going to be throwing so many nuggets in STK. Like I know you have learned from some of the brightest and some of the best out there when it comes to AI, and you've implemented it in your business, and now you're
Yeah.
using that with your systems, so it all kind of meshes together. So it'd be fun to also do a deep dive on that, and then see if people would be like, "Oh my God, mind blown! This is absolutely incredible. Why have I not used this?"
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of really neat ahas.
Yeah, I think I had an aha today. I kind of I'm speaking on this summit this week. It's a AI writing summit, and there's a landing page, obviously, with my unique link to have people sign up.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the landing page and I saw the other speakers, and I thought, well, normally what I would do is I would connect with each one of the other speakers on LinkedIn. I would go and search them. And I thought, hmm, I can AIify this. So I took the landing page link, put it into GenSpark, and had it research all of those people, website, email, LinkedIn profile, dropped it in a CSV file,
Mm-hmm.
loop into my CRM, and went to LinkedIn, connected with each one with the same message, and sent them all an email. And it was just like this next level thing that when you start thinking AI first with
Mm-hmm.
all of these skills, it just takes you to the next level. And it did it so much quicker than if I was doing it on my own. So when it comes to creating clients, and I say creating clients all the time, the ability to go that one, that one, that one, because you know your ideal client so well, you can almost see them at an event. Or if I'm speaking on stage, I can pick them out in the audience because I know my ideal client so deeply. And then to think AI first with that, how
Mm-hmm.
do we research them and get connected to them so much quicker? And I'd like to say it's really easy if you know how to do it. really easy. And my husband, who said that to me originally, I said, I'm going to be quoting you all the time because it's simple and easy if you know how to do it.
Yeah, and if you're at a point right now where you're like, oh my God, like maybe you feel overwhelmed. Maybe, this is
Me?
a slightly newer thing, or
Yeah.
maybe you've been doing this for years and you just haven't got the momentum or the traction. Look, that's totally fine. It's not your fault. That's part of the reason why we put all this together. Because we said, okay, like we're not just going to expect you to be walking in. That's why we're calling this clients for coaches, because we want to get even more. And if you don't have any, well, great. This will maybe lock in that first specific client at that price that maybe you have been a little too gun shy to pull. Maybe you say like, hey, I've been dying to have a 1K client, a 5K client, a 25K client. Like until you actually get the first one in there, sometimes it's a little hard, even from a belief perspective, to say, yes, I can do that. And
Yeah.
there's stories that STK and I are going to share on A, how do we overcome that limiting belief within ourselves? And then B, how do you go ahead and actually craft an offer that totally speaks to this individual where without a shadow of a doubt, they are this person struggling with this, they're looking to achieve this. And that the second, like STK said, you can see him in a room and you're like, yes, that's the
Yeah.
exact person I want to work with. And so STK, it's funny because you are literally a shining example of the exact person I love to work with.
Yeah.
Right. And over
Yeah.
time, I've just noticed, through my own kind of trials and errors and like this works, this doesn't work. I went back and I looked at every testimonial and it's the same exact avatar time and time again.
Yep.
And that for me was like my biggest aha. I'm like, oh my God, they're this age range, they're, this demographics, this psychographics, whatever. And it
Mhm.
was like, cool, got it. But I think sometimes like, if I had somebody to walk me through that process to even know to look for those things,
Yeah.
it would have shortened my time span to like success, probably like just a
I know.
hell of a lot faster.
Yeah.
So if you're coming in and you're like, hey, like I'm still trying to dial these things in, look, that's totally fine. Come in with an open mind. It's going to be one piece at a time. Whatever, sits well with you and it resonates, awesome. Take it, use it. Whatever doesn't, then just leave it to the side and that's totally cool. But I can promise you this will be the best 4 hours. And if you decide to do VIP, we actually have an additional hour after that to like deep dive into you specifically, that I personally think that you can invest on a day like that, where it's just like, awesome, I'm going to turn off the phones. I'm going to turn off the Facebook notifications. I'm going to take time. I'm going to be selfish for myself to sit here and focus on my business. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. Every time that you are not out there, that you are not sharing your message, somebody's worse off for it. Every
Yeah.
time somebody doesn't hear or have an invitation extended from you to work with them, somebody's in a really challenging pain point. So I'm going to challenge you that if you're not putting yourself out there consistently or you feel like it's not aligned, this is an opportunity for you to come in, to be super serious, hyper intentional, and say, okay, I'm ready to make a massive shift. And there's no better time than the end of the year, because now you get to position yourself with this really beautiful foundation into 2026, which should be absolutely incredible for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the intentionality of what we have created here,
Mhm.
and I like to say before an event like this, uh, don't come if you don't wanna work. If you don't wanna be hands-on, if you're gonna show up with your camera off, multitasking, checking email, don't bother because it will be too much for you to handle if you're multitasking. This is really a hands-on experience, and
Mhm.
for those that know the 2 of us, they always know we always over-deliver, but if you're new to Brendan and me, I just want you to know that this is personal, this is engaging, this is you can ask questions, you can show up and do the work while we're showing you how to do things.
Mhm.
And for me personally, after 15 years in the online space, that's when I've been the most successful with a coach, with a consultant, or in a course. And I've spent over $250,000 working with coaches and consultants and growth for my business over the years. And the times that were worth it for me are the times I showed up uninterrupted, focused, camera on, right here to learn. And when I didn't do that, it was money wasted. So I really want to encourage that. If you're going to sign up, be prepared. We're going to be here with you doing it with you and supporting you along the way.
Yeah, and one thing I've always learned, if you never ask, the answer is always
Yeah.
no. Okay,
Mhm.
so one thing we're going to kindly ask of you, there's only so many people that's going to see this. It's only going to get pushed to so many people in the feed. And at the end of the day, there's going to be people that do need to be in this because it's going to radically transform their life personally, professionally, mentally,
Yes.
emotionally, spiritually, physically. This can radically change someone. And there's only so many individuals that we can touch or we can get this message out to. So our kind ask of you, if you know somebody that is a coach, speaker, consultant, trainer, like they have a message they want to get out there, they would love to do it and have even more impact, more influence, more income, then we're going to ask you just kindly share this link that Suzanne has in the bottom. Share this with them and be like, hey, I've got an extra seat, would love to invite you. It looks like they're doing some really cool things. And the cool thing is, guys, we decided to make this free. Now, there's plenty of events. We could have charged for it, but we've had enough people say like, all right, I'm willing to come in wherever you are financially. Like, it's totally cool. Just, we're going to ask if you be here to be attentive. Be very specific about what you want to get, be super hyper intentional and bring a friend along. Like, nothing is better than when you got somebody that you can do like link arms with and say, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable. You hold me accountable. We're going to do the work. We're going to get this done. We're going to, anything they ask us to do, we're going to take care of it. And then the other thing I'm going to ask you too is like, if you're the kind of person like STK and I always love to say, if there's a VIP, I need to be in there. And obviously I'm going to learn something. I'm going to have some takeaways, but also the caliber of individuals that are in there, they just play at a different level because they want to show up. They want that more one-on-one time. So if you're that kind of person, when you go to the registration page link and you grab your seat, there's going to be a page right after that says, hey, do you want to join? And so I'm going to suggest, if you want to seriously show up for yourself, it's not a lot of money. It's less than $100 and it gives you that extra hour plus a whole bunch of bonuses. And we're going to like deep dive on you specifically, which, a lot of people just in general, session won't necessarily have that capability and the access to ask us very specific things. So anyways, that's an option. We would love to have you in there. We'd love to invite some friends. It's going to be a super, super powerful half-day session, man. I'm excited for it. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. And you know what I love even more is that what you just explained, that type of person, you and I have been that person for each other. You've helped me, I've helped you. And I think that collaborative nature of what we're doing, I think it just magnifies my message. It magnifies your message. I'm your ideal client. You're my ideal client. Well, holy crap, what we've created together is so powerful. And I just love when things turn out like that. I just think, being open to new opportunities and new ways of thinking. Nobody needs more information, right? You don't need the latest funnel. You need to think about your funnel differently. And this is exactly what we're going to do for you.
Yeah. So guys, there's only a couple days left. So my suggestion is if this looks like any ounce of something that you'd want to have in your life and you want to leverage 10 years on my end, I think STK 15 years on your end. So 25 plus years worth of experience and all the errors and all the trials and all the goofy mistakes that we've made. Please take this one opportunity in a very short, condensed period of time to learn from us. It's going to be masterclass.clientsforcoaches.com. So take that, go ahead, register, lock in your seat. You're going to get basically just a corresponding email that says, hey, congrats, you've locked that in. And then please go ahead, share that with at least 3 people that you know, because the worst case, they say, no, thank you, or can't make it. Best case scenario, they come back and say, hey, thank you so much for sending that invite. That was such an impactful masterclass. And like now they get to go out and take this and leverage it and start changing more lives. So just by you sharing, you have no idea how many people that ripple effect can really impact.
Love it. Love it. We're going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brendan.
It's going to be an absolute blast. Cool. All right. Well, guys, if you have any questions, put it in the feed below. Feel free to reach out to us, comment, and we will see you all in the masterclass coming up shortly.
All right.